All right, everybody, welcome back to Cross Crease Hockey, and today we're going to be talking about trading Evgeny Kuznetsov and what to expect if that trade did occur. I'm going to come straight out of the gate and tell you, I don't think he's getting traded this season. I don't see any reason that the Capitals should trade him any sooner than the deadline, and even then, I don't think they're going to. I think right now, they're going to let him... They're going to give him that chance to step his game back up to where he was in previous seasons and kind of get his game together and get back to where he's been in the past and where, frankly, we all know that he can play. That skill level that he can play at. That skill level being the 2017-18 season where he played in 79 games got himself 27 goals, 56 assists for 83 points. Compare that to the 2020-2021 season, 41 games played, 9 goals, 20 assists, 29 points. You can see that drop in offensive production there. And that's what a lot of fans are looking at, is that drop right there. Right? They're looking at that steady decline from the 2017-18 season until now. And they're saying, well, we should trade him. He's locker room cancer. He's not good on the ice. That's not really true. He's still a pretty skilled player. He does still contribute. 20 assists is not something to scoff at. That's still impressive. So, and for that alone, I don't think the Caps are going to trade him. But let's get into it a little bit more here. He's still got 4 years left at $7.8 million. So that's a pretty big cap hit, I think. There, you're looking at something that's going to scare away a lot of GMs and something that immediately eliminates plenty of hockey clubs that just can't take on that kind of a contract without moving some money. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to talking about trading, is what does this contract look like? Does the contract seem that is that something that a team could take on? And I think a lot of teams aren't able to take on a $7.8 million cap hit, and I think a lot of teams don't want to take on a $7.8 million cap hit, quite frankly. I will say he is a bona fide top 2 center on almost any team in the NHL. This idea that he's not a good center, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know why Caps fans are saying, oh, they should put him on the wing. He's a fantastic face-off guy. This guy's going to win you face-offs in the defensive zone 9 times out of 10. This is a guy that you want in the center spot. He is a legitimate top 2 center on almost any team in the league. I say almost because you got teams like the Penguins with Malkin and Crosby, the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl. You're probably not shaking up those top 2 center spots, but most any other team, he's going to be a top 2 center. I think in 2018, when they won the Stanley Cup, I think he should have received the Conn Smythe. I think he was the best player on the ice for them during that entire playoff run. I understand why they gave it to Ovi. I just think if you were looking at it strictly from a point of who was the best player on the ice, I think it should have been Evgeny Kuznetsov at the end of the day. I could also see an argument for Braden Holtby for that too. So those are things to keep in mind when you start talking about what is his trade value. And at the end of the day, I think his trade value is still just going to be a little high, right? I think right now you're looking at the Jack Eichel trade, where it's clearly there's too much being asked for him. So let's take a step back from that. I think Evgeny Kuznetsov could net you either a legitimate NHL player and a couple of draft picks, or a young prospect under the age of 23 and a couple of draft picks. Might be able to shake that up a little bit, mix and match. Lower draft picks, higher draft picks, something like that. I think legitimately, for a player that was taken 26th overall in 2010, you could look at the very least, a second-round draft pick from another team, along with a player that's NHL caliber. So let's talk about some players that I've got listed here. We've got Sean Monahan coming out of the Calgary Flames. He's a left shot center. He's 26 years old, so you're dropping a little bit in the age there. Kuzy is 29. He would replace Kuznetsov on the second line. He's got a strong offensive play. I think he would do really well centering a line between Sprong and Mantha, or even Sprong and Oshie, or Oshie and Mantha, something like that. I think that would be a fantastic second line for the Capitals right there. Make them very lethal. 2021, he had 50 games played, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points on a Calgary Flames team that just wasn't quite good enough, as we all know, coming out of a relatively weak division, all things considered. I think that's a trade that could absolutely work. You're looking at a 1-for-1 in position, in skill level. The biggest thing is, will the Flames want to take on that 4-year, $7.8 million contract in exchange for a younger player? Right? Are they going to give up a younger, legitimate player for an older, legitimate player? I think if you're trying to sell the Flames on that, I would say Kuznetsov could legitimately be their top line center, whereas Monahan fits better in a second line center role, in my opinion. So that's how you would try to make that sell happen. Other than that, you got Jacob Chikrin out of the Arizona Coyotes organization. He's a left shot defenseman. He's only 23 years old, and he's very talented. This would give the Capitals a young defenseman to build with in the future. So this goes beyond John Carlson. You know, that now you're looking into when McMichael's going to be in his prime. You're looking at when even Protas or some of these younger guys, Iorio, some of these guys are going to be in their prime. He would be a little bit on the older side and able to help them out after being mentored by guys like Dmitry Orlov and John Carlson. So that's definitely something to look at there, the age. In 2021, 56 games played, 18 goals, 23 assists, 41 points. So very productive, very offensively productive defenseman for a very weak Arizona Coyotes organization. Do I think the Coyotes are going to give up Jacob Chikrin? No, absolutely. Even if they're in a rebuild mode, I don't think they're giving you Jacob Chikrin, even for somebody like Evgeny Kuznetsov. But at the end of the day, these are the talent levels that you should be looking at if you're going to be trading a top 2 center from your organization, right? You're going to be looking for either other star players that you think would fit your team, or you're going to be looking for futures. So that's what you'd be looking at trade-wise. You could look at a Jack Eichel trade. I mean, do you want to give up a mostly healthy 29-year-old center for an obviously unhealthy, I think Jack Eichel's 26, I could be wrong, not so healthy center? Possibly not. He seems dead set on that surgery that he wants to have on his neck. I don't know if that's necessarily the right move, but Buffalo's definitely got the cap space to take on that contract, and I think you could sell Buffalo's GM on a Kuznetsov for Eichel trade pretty easily. Right now, the Eichel ask is a little high, but you start throwing around a legitimate top-line center that can help them actually be competitive once they do get some of these younger players up in the system and playing at the NHL level. That way that they're not ruining those young players' development. You could do that. I think for them, you'd probably be looking at a Jack Eichel and I'd say a second and a third round draft pick. And we would probably have to give them Kuznetsov and a future first or third. I think third probably fits that line as far as trade value goes a little better. So that's who I'm sold on personally. Sean Monahan's a better fit. Just let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more content talking about the Washington Capitals, possible trade ideas, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.